Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. It is 6:30 on Friday, March the 1st. Good morning. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning into Mountain News this morning. Well, we are finally out of February, and it didn't bring much snow, if any at all, to the mountains, but March might be starting off on a different tone, but not today. Let's bring in meteorologist Paige Noel, who's in for Brandon this morning. And Paige, what's to say really about February? I think everybody is just glad that we're away from it, but March is going to kick off on a soggy winter weather note, possibly.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of everything we could see this weekend, especially cooler temperatures is really the name of the game as we head into your March. But today, just dealing with those scattered rain chances, overall not too bad. Dealt with them last night. That's why you'll see a little bit of those wet roadways over onto Moorhead Interstate 64. Not looking too bad over there. You could see that rain starting to move out of our area a little bit later last night, early this morning. So we are dry this morning, but we are going to see those scattered rain chances return. Temperatures are chilly. Definitely need that jacket if you're headed out. Those low to mid 30s, some spots into those mid 40s, which is really where we'll top out for today. So looking at your headlines, scattered rain chances continue. And yes, we will be talking about a possibility of a wintry mix as we head into the weekend.
All righty, Paige, we'll be back with you. Well, yesterday, teachers took a firm stand in Frankfort again. Several school districts canceled classes. This time, teachers protested House Bill 525 in the state capitol. It would change up the Board of Trustees for the teachers' retirement system. Now, Kentucky lawmakers passed a bill in committee yesterday that would restructure the teachers' retirement system board. Many teachers, though, say it's fine the way it is. Some of Kentucky's largest school districts were off yesterday as educators called in sick to protest Bill 525.
75 plus years, this process has benefited the pensioners to the TRS system, and I will stand by that till my last dying breath.
The bill's sponsor says the Kentucky Education Association has too much control with 7 of the 11 seats on the board. The bill would reorganize the nominating and election processes for the positions. It now moves to the full House for consideration. Now, some are wondering if there will be backlash for teachers who did not teach to protest. Under Kentucky state law, public employees like teachers cannot strike, but they can call in sick. Caitlin Rust is a reporter with our sister station in Louisville, home of the largest school district in the state. She says at least one lawmaker is calling this a strike, but those involved disagree.
The people of Jefferson County are entitled to know why their teachers are striking. And the teachers who didn't call in are entitled to know why their teachers are striking as well.
The word strike is being thrown out without cause, according to the group KY120 United, which encouraged teachers to call out. They say this is not a strike.
Well, it's not really a strike because our school districts closed. So basically, we didn't have work today, which obviously allowed us to go and advocate in Frankfort.
JCPS told us they closed schools because there were not enough substitutes. So everyone got the day off and there will be no repercussions.
Using the word strike is going to cause a lot of problems.
In order for it to be deemed a strike, employment attorney Samuel G. Hayward says there has to be legal action taken.
You're going to have a judge somewhere rule that this is a strike.
Hayward says the sick-out would have to violate the agreement local unions signed with the school districts or provoke the state to take legal action for that to even come into play. Calling the sick-out an advocacy day, one of the KY120 organizers, Nima Brewer, says there was no other option.
This is kind of something that we feel like we have to do. We don't want to, but we feel like we have to just to be heard.
Now, again, that was Caitlin Rust reporting. There is no word if more of the so-called sick-outs will happen today. Now, here are the main headlines from this debate. Currently, the KEA has majority control over the Teachers Retirement System board members. House Bill 525 strips them of that. While it increases the total number of board members from 11 to 13, KEA would only nominate 2 members opposed to their 7 currently. The governor would also gain an appointee. Well, Kentucky lawmakers gave final approval to a school safety bill the KEA endorsed. The bill now heads to Governor Bevin's desk. The measure sets new goals of putting police officers in every school and having at least one counselor for every 250 students. The legislation comes with no money, so school districts won't be able to comply right away. Meanwhile, 2 people face charges in connection to a Bell County burglary. Police arrested Logan Howard and Samantha Bays yesterday. Investigators say they were caught on camera breaking into a home. While inside, police say they stole several items, including a gun. Both face a charge of first-degree burglary. Well, President Trump is back in the States after his 2-day summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The meeting ended without a joint agreement on denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. The president is being applauded for walking away from a bad deal, but he's also receiving backlash over his comments about the death of American Otto Warmbier. CBS's Mark Liverman has more.
Confusion over the abrupt ending to the summit between President Trump and North Korea's Kim Jong-un.
I think the president had it exactly right. He said they basically asked for full sanctions relief. That's true. They basically did ask for that.
North Korea's foreign minister says not quite. His country only wanted partial sanctions relief, though they didn't offer a full denuclearization, the main goal for the U.S.
Part of the art of making the deal is to know when to walk away.
In Washington, lawmakers praised President Trump for not making a bad deal in Vietnam.
Frankly, I think that we cannot give up our demands for a denuclearized North Korea.
But there was sharp criticism of the president's comments about Otto Warmbier.
He tells me that he didn't know about it, and I will take him at his word.
President Trump says Kim Jong-un is not to blame for the death of the 22-year-old college student. Warmbier was severely injured while in North Korean custody and died back home.
The mistreatment of Otto Warmbier was something that is unforgivable.
Senators Rob Portman and Sherrod Brown, both from Warmbier's home state of Ohio, say Kim Jong-un should not be let off the hook.
I mean, you never should go meet with the North Korean dictator without bringing up the name Otto Warmbier and bring up the whole issue of human rights over and over. That's who we are as a country.
The North Korean regime sentenced Warmbier to prison in 2016 for allegedly stealing a poster from a hotel in Pyongyang. Mark Liverman, CBS News.
Now, Warmbier's family says he was brutally tortured. In December, the family was awarded $50 million in a lawsuit against North Korea. Now, the Trump administration is ditching a tariff hike on China, at least for now. The Office of U.S. Trade will file documents this week to suspend the scheduled increase until further notice. In a statement Wednesday, a representative for the agency says the move comes directly from President Trump. U.S. and Chinese leaders have been working to broker a deal to stave off a growing trade war. The increase would have gone into effect Saturday and put about a 25% tariff on $200 billion worth of Chinese exports. President Trump's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, emerged after giving hours of testimony to the House Intelligence Committee. Yesterday's closed-door session wraps Cohen's 3 days of testimony on Capitol Hill this week, with Wednesday's public hearing taking center stage.
He is a racist. He is a con man, and he is a cheat.
Republicans on the committee, Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows, accused Cohen of lying in the hearing and sent a letter to the Justice Department asking them to investigate. Cohen's attorney said Cohen testified truthfully and pointed to documents Cohen supplied to back up his claims. Michael Cohen pleaded guilty to federal charges of campaign finance violations, tax evasion, and lying to Congress. He will begin his 3-year prison sentence in May. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will be charged with bribery, fraud, and breach of trust, according to a source with direct knowledge of the decision by the country's attorney general. The charges stem from 3 separate corruption investigations pending a hearing in what would be a major blow to Netanyahu as he seeks a 5th term in office. Netanyahu has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, most recently doing so Wednesday when he released a statement dismissing the possible bribery charges as ridiculous. Back in the States, a school bus in North Carolina crashed with 15 students on board yesterday morning. No major injuries were reported. The bus appeared to have lost control, veered into a car, and then into a townhome. Several children were seen walking around the bus after the crash. Officials with Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools say alternate arrangements were made to transport the children to school or their home. Well, it's 6:40. Let's toss it on over to Paige at the weather wall.
Yeah, well, we're seeing a little bit of some patchy dense fog a little early this morning, but overall not too bad. Seeing that along US 119 in Pine Mountain. Really, all of us starting to deal with that patchy dense fog early this morning. So if you are headed out here in the next couple of minutes, make sure to take it slow. Temperatures, they're pretty chilly out there as well. Definitely going to need the jacket. Those low to mid 30s really across our area. Good news is we'll warm up, but only into about those mid 40s as we head throughout the rest of the day. We'll also bring back about a 30% chance of those scattered rain chances. We'll talk about the snow potential coming up in just a little bit.
All righty, well, we will have stories trending on WYMT.com next. As always, thank you for joining us right here on Mountain News this morning. Well, you may not believe what you see when we show you, but we have a weird-looking creature that washed up on the shore in California. And we take you to parades where people from all over to see color floats and costumes for Mardi Gras.